The first exercise we're going to discuss is the squat. And squat is the most important one because, well, we do it almost every single day, multiple times throughout the day. So think about it. When you take a seat at work, when you go to the bathroom, when you bend over to look into the fridge, when you pick up your kids, whenever you do anything that requires you to go to a lower level and then back to where you are now, you're most likely going through a squat. So let's talk about the squat and the proper parts of the squat that make a productive, healthy, joint-friendly, pain-free squat. So before we get into the squat and what we want to focus on with the squat and all the different areas that we want to have you thinking about, I want you to perform just 10 bodyweight squats at a simple, slow pace. Think 2 seconds on the way down, 2 seconds on the way up of the tempo. So just like this, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I want you to think about where you're feeling it. And when you go through it, maybe even set up your phone in front of you or a camera so you can see a front angle, a side angle, and even a rear angle of how you're squatting. This will give you a lot more feedback as we get further into this course so you can see what we're working on and what we're improving to make sure that your squats are not only pain-free, but we're creating great stability and strength moving forward in your program. Now with the squat and the hinge, even though both of these are lower body focused exercises, we're still going to prioritize your upper body awareness, strength, and stability as well. So you'll see it in these demonstrations how both the squat and the hinge are prioritizing upper body awareness and tension as we go through the lower body movements for each exercise. When we're doing the squat, we want to think about 5 different points, starting from our feet and building the way up. We're going to think about the tripod foot method, which is having the 3 different spots of our foot highlighted and centered on the floor so that all equal pressure is on those feet on all 3 points of the foot at all times. The second part is the foot position. So how far spaced out they are, as well as the direction where your toes are pointing, will be the next stage. Number 3 is going to be your knees and what direction your knees are going during your squats. We want to make sure your knees are tracking toward the direction of where your feet are pointing. Never ever letting your knees cave in. Always make sure that they're going forward or out. The 4th piece we're going to think about is what our pelvis is doing. So make sure that we have a neutral pelvis and not flaring our butt back too far or tucking it under too far. And then lastly, what's happening with our upper body? We want to keep tension in our upper body. Even though a squat is a lower body focused exercise, we're still using a lot of upper body to make sure that we're keeping great posture, great control, but also we're not letting those muscles get laxed and then lead to injury or pain later on. So when we're thinking about upper body focus of the squats, we're going to think about shoulders being pulled back and your lats or your armpits being tucked in and pinched in tight. That way, if you're using a kettlebell up top or down low, that everything is in tight together and controlled in a way that you're moving up and down through your squat. We want to prioritize locking out your legs, squeezing your glutes, squeezing your quads, squeezing your hamstrings, gripping your feet into the ground, pulling your shoulders back, and tucking your elbows and arms at your sides as you complete each exercise and each repetition for the squat. Now, I know there's a lot to think about with the squat, but if we can continue to prioritize this and have our mind be mindful and aware of what our upper body is doing in conjunction with our lower body, we will move more confidently, we'll stay out of pain and away from pain, and also have greater improvements in our strength, overall stability, and performance.